Hello, everyone. Welcome to From the Shelf's Marvel Mart segment.
You sound very excited.
Okay, so I, all right. I don't know if it's the movie's fault or where they decided to release them, but getting through both of these, even when they were coming out to get to the next Avengers movie, that was painful.
Yeah, no, it really is hard to say. Like, is it because Infinity War was just so good that these are just like, what are we doing? Like this feels like such a step back.
Well, I don't know if it's because of that or it's because we know there's another Avengers movie right after or a year after the last one.
And
So
yeah.
Now, before we talk about, because we're gonna do Ant-Man and the Wasp first. Does Ant-Man and the Wasp take place at the same time as Infinity War, and that's why Ant-Man's not dealing with Thanos?
Yeah, close to. It does say in Infinity War that he's on house arrest, so it's except for actually, it's weird actually. But by the time Infinity War stuff's happening, he would be out of house arrest. So, or I guess it just says they made a deal.
Yeah, so I figured this happened around the same time because
Very close to.
He's not in Infinity War, so
I assume Clint took the same deal. So
yeah, because Clint's doing Clint things.
He's got family stuff.
We'll get to him in Avengers Endgame. Don't worry.
It's literally the opening of the movie.
But that's Avengers Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this is a follow-up to both Ant-Man and Captain America: Civil War, and yeah, Ant-Man is on house arrest because of the whole Civil War thing. And
I mean,
he goes
better than the Raft.
And he gets out of house arrest because he went to the quantum realm and is now like mentally linked to Jane Van. What's her name? Jane Michelle Pfeiffer.
Janet
Van Dyne. Yeah, so he's like mentally linked to her because they're both in the quantum realm. And Hank thinks that
I forgot to mention it in the first movie. You can actually see a brief clip, like an image of her when he's in the quantum realm, like really, really fast. There is a flash of the Wasp.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
You're kind of supposed to. It's very quick.
Okay, so they were setting this up the whole time. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually smart. Okay. But then Hank, is like, okay, so you can help me save my wife. And then there's this ghost lady. Okay.
Yep.
Why do I care?
Yeah. I do actually find Ghost's story interesting. Just everything, she was obviously an accident turned weapon, which seems to happen a lot. That's kind of what they wanted to do with the Hulk too. So
here's the thing though. She's not a bad person.
Well,
like at all.
Not at first.
I mean, she goes to some extreme lengths, but did she kill anybody in this movie?
I'm not sure.
Did she really like she was trying not to anyone?
Like the only one I was unsure, like she does something to some guy's chest at one point, but it didn't look like she stuck her hand in his chest. It looked like she just sort of like, I don't know, knocked him out. But I don't think she was trying to kill anyone.
I don't think so. But yeah, it's about all I got.
Yep. And right at the beginning, there's a lot more de-aging. It's not just one character. It's several. It's like
they
had to make sure that
you got Janet Van Dyne, who's played by Michelle Pfeiffer, so they make her look like she did in Grease 2, which I'm all for.
But yeah, they had to make sure that tech was working before they got to Captain Marvel, where it's a prominent part of that movie.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to muster the energy to care.
I know it's the thing. The thing is, this movie's not bad. It's just so horribly placed, and it's just very whatever. Like I don't know.
His friends are back for some reason.
Oh yeah, they're not. They're not.
Don't fucking do anything.
Actually, that's not true. They cause a lot of problems later.
Oh, there's truth serum in this movie.
Yeah.
In case you were curious,
it is truth serum.
Aside from that, they do a lot more with Hank Pym shrinking stuff in this one.
Yeah, apparently he figured out how to shrink a whole freaking building.
Yes, and he's got just a bunch of Hot Wheel cars that are actually cars.
I don't know when he had time to figure out the building thing, but
don't worry about that.
And then there's that thing with the black market merchant dude, whatever. I don't care about that part of the story at all.
Yeah, like Cecil from Invincible is just here to get tech. What was he
It's
there for?
it's so I don't. It's just a secondary problem. Maybe they felt like, oh, we need an actual antagonist since Ghost is technically not really a bad person.
Or you could just have written a better story with an actual villain that I cared about.
Yeah, no, that whole thing with him chasing after them, it's just like, why are you here? It was very dumb. But one thing that's cool is the ghost effect is actually pretty neat.
No, it is. And Ant-Man's suit is having issues in this movie for some reason.
Oh, because it's a prototype or unfinished. It was a throwaway line just so they could have those joke things with him shrinking, half shrinking,
stupid.
growing. Yeah,
it's so
it's annoying.
Stupid.
But yeah, that ghost effect is cool. Like sometimes she makes motions and you can see them happen in the ghost before she actually moves. It's just kind of trippy.
They do the whole Ant-Man friend fast talking storytelling thing again.
Yeah, it's an interesting visual narrative device. It makes it exposition a little more funny.
It does, but it feels like they only did it because people liked it in the first movie.
Yeah, that's 100% why they did it.
It seems just out of place in this one. I don't know. It's weird.
It was just a joke.
Ant-Man gets really big in this movie.
Yeah, he's stuck like that for a while.
Yeah, he passes out and almost drowns.
Yet somehow has the energy to fight like pretty shortly after.
Because Marvel.
Yeah, had to happen. No, but I love that the solution to everyone's problems was just play nice, get along, work together. Everything would have been fine.
What was the thing where nobody could figure out how he did his card tricks?
Oh, yeah, that was just a joke to make. Was it Jimmy Woo, right?
Jimmy Woo. This happens a couple times where things just go over his head. Like, did you want to get dinner?
Yeah. That's another one of those things that people say is improvised, but I never know if that's true because you look at the scene and it's like, okay, if Scott didn't make that joke about like where are we gonna, like if that didn't happen, what, Jimmy Woo was just gonna go, I'll be seeing you, and then that was the end of the scene? I don't believe that.
I who knows, man.
That's the problem. Everybody's always like, oh, that was improvised, and I could see that being improvised.
You're gonna tell me that Ant was able to really mimic all of Scott's daily routine?
Yes, he was programmed to play drums and whatnot.
It's stupid.
No. The most annoying thing about the Ant is the Ant playing drum is the post-credit scene, which was in the trailer. Why did they do
Marvel Studios usually doesn't do that, so I don't know what happened here. Unless they filmed that scene, had literally nowhere else to put it, and I was like, okay, we'll throw this movie away just like this whole movie's a throwaway. There you go.
But thankfully they do get Janet back, so that's it's nice to see the family get back together.
So then, Janet can just magically touch Ghost and fix her. Quantum realm magic, I guess.
It seems like she didn't even know how she did that, but
she just did it. And yeah, okay. Okay. So Harry Potter bullshit in the Marvel universe now. All right.
Oh, I never thought that they would make tardigrades, microscopic things, feel so intimidating because Hank almost gets eaten by them.
Yes. It'd be weird if we had a whole movie set in that world.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
I don't know what that would be like.
So yeah, I really have nothing else to say about this movie. It's mostly well done. I find Ghost somewhat interesting, but it's just because of where it is. It's just so irrelevant.
But because of where it is, the mid-credits scene is very important.
Extremely. Actually, you know what's funny is this movie as a whole is not very important, but that mid-credit scene is quite possibly the most important mid-credit scene in the entire franchise.
So, after they become friends with Ghost and all that, they take the van and turn it into a mini quantum tunnel. So they're going to send Scott in there to collect particles and get out. So you see Scott in there, and they're doing like, all right, 5, 4, 3, and they stop responding. Scott's like, this isn't funny. What's going on? And then it cuts away, and they were all snapped away by Thanos.
I will say, when I first saw that, and actually a little bit when I just rewatched it, that scene does kind of give me chills. I'm just like, oh,
It's
that was
dark because
intense.
he's just not only are all of his friends dead, he doesn't know it, and he's trapped in there.
It is. I'm sorry, it's just crazy how important that scene actually is to the entire series.
Now, do you think? And I know we've talked about this before. Do you think he was supposed to get snapped and dodged it because of the quantum realm, or was he just not supposed to get snapped?
Well, doing some math here, since there were 4 of them and 3 of them disappeared, he was probably fine. Mathematically speaking, he shouldn't have been snapped away.
Titan says otherwise, my friend.
Yeah, no, we talked. Yeah, we did talk about this. The ratio of hero characters who disappear is very off from 50-50.
Now, what about his wife? Do you think she got snapped away, or his ex-wife? Think she got snapped away too?
Oh, I don't think she's even important enough to make the list.
That's fair.
I'm gonna presume no, though. Because you don't really see the follow up with her later, so probably not. I feel like that would be just a little too messed up for Cassie.
Yeah, that would be really messed up, wouldn't it?
So just for the sake of the narrative, I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah, all right, I can see that. But otherwise, this movie's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. There's no horrible things about it except for that merchant dude who just like does not need to be in the movie at all.
And the post-credit scene is genuinely kind of awful.
Yeah, it's one of the worst.
I mean, there's some unsettlingness to it because it's very clearly happened after the Thanos snap.
Oh, just playing drums while horrible things are happening.
Like because you see the TV screens like because the weatherman probably died on screen.
Right. Damn.
But Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Let's move on to that. Oh no!
Talk about a fucking nothing burger of a movie.
I have even less to say about this one.
Oh my god!
Hold on. The Stan Lee logo at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. So this movie was the first MCU movie to come out after Stan Lee's passing. So they put a nice little tribute to him right at the beginning, which is neat.
And his cameo in this was actually pretty perfect considering the timing.
And they played this little music when he shows up, so it was cool.
But that cameo though is, I got questions because he was reading his script from Mallrats, preparing for his cameo as Stan Lee in that. What?
Does this take place in the View Askew universe?
There's just so many layers to that. But I do remember hearing Kevin Smith respond to that, like, holy crap, I exist in the MCU now, because his name's on the script.
Yes, it's
as a super nerd, like, yeah, that would feel good,
dude. But how do I put this without being a dick? This movie's fucking boring.
It's boring, but it is. And another thing though, it's also okay, but yeah, it's pretty boring. It's way too long for what it is.
It's long. It's boring. Why does this movie exist?
I find it hilarious though that one of these recurring things in this movie with her and Yanrog is "you're too emotional," and I'm just like, are we looking at the same person here? Because she's really not. She's
very deadpan.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there though, because I know she can be somewhat charismatic. Maybe they were trying to make her seem stoic, but instead it just came off as.
I think it's because she was reprogrammed essentially by the Kree. Oh, and they want you to make the Kree think they're good guys, but since we've already seen Guardians of the Galaxy, we know they're assholes. Speaking of, Ronan and that other guy are in this.
Korath.
Yes, they're both in this.
Yep. So it's just also a prequel to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, because this takes place in the 90s. I don't know if they specify what year, but it's in the 90s.
They don't have to because it's established. Blockbuster and Radio Shack. It's the 90s.
Yep. He mentioned this earlier. The de-aging technology is used throughout the entire movie because Sam Jackson has hair, which is crazy, and it looks very natural, actually.
It's pretty good, and for the amount of scenes they had to de-age him for, yeah, they did a good job.
There's a cat who's actually a weird alien thing.
What the flurkin is that thing?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the Skrull in this.
Yeah, they're the villains, right?
Yeah, totally. They're totally not actually, just refugees trying to get back to their families.
Yeah, that was definitely a big subversion. Because usually what the MCU does is the opposite, try to make it seem like the bad guy is going to be a good guy, and then of course they end up being the bad guy. This did the opposite, where they just had them be the good guys.
Because the bad guy is actually Jude Law's character.
Jan Rog.
Yeah, who cares?
Oh, this is a weird one. That Kree character, part of that group, her name's Minerva. She's the same actress who plays Cersei in The Eternals. That's probably the most major double casting in the entire franchise.
Wow.
But I guess they thought they could get away with it because she's blue here. So, I mean, honestly, I know it's her, and I still can't really tell.
Interesting. Also, the Supreme Intelligence is a thing in this movie. Not that I care.
Yeah,
but the Supreme Intelligence in this movie.
I don't really care about that either. I do find the interactions between Fury and Carol funny. Like, I like the way they play off of each other.
If toast is cut diagonally, I can't eat it.
It's just like...
You didn't need that, did you?
What a random thing. But yeah, stuff like that. I do like their interactions.
I mean, it's funny. I'll give you credit. I think it's funny too. But I'm trying really hard to care about this movie, and it's just not working.
No,
they go out of their way to explain things though that didn't need an explanation. Like, this movie is where he came up with the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah, that was a weird one. And then
and a fucking cat cut his eye open.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have an eye anymore because of a fucking cat.
It's like, so this was that friend that you trusted and you lost an eye over? Because
this retroactively makes that line in one of the best MCU movies so much stupider.
I don't. What was he thinking when he said that?
Like, you could have had like something happen in this movie to make him lose an eye that was cooler. Like, oh, maybe he was friends with that Skrull, and maybe he was a dickhead Skrull and threw him in the way of a blast or something. I don't know.
We always say he lost an eye, but he actually still has the eye. It's just it doesn't work anymore.
Yes, but he has an eye patch at the end of this movie. Oh, and the cat eats the Tesseract just to spit it back out in the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long has Nick Fury had the Tesseract for then? 20 years?
Well, they had it before. It sounds like they found it. They did. They found it like right after Cap went in the ice.
Yeah, and then
it was
in
space,
a
lot longer than that.
Because then they found it in space in this movie.
Right. Wait, hold on. How did it get there? Wait, yeah, what?
You could always just... The Kree lady got it to power the ship to save the Skrull.
I honestly wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, hold on.
Because they find it in space in this movie. Oh, and then, I don't know if you knew this. When she gets superpowered and fights the Kree at the end?
Yeah.
The aura surrounding her body, they actually based that on Super Saiyans.
I actually have Super Saiyan written down here.
That they actually did base it on Super Saiyan.
I was gonna say the montage right before she goes Super Saiyan should have had the I get knocked down, but I get up again. Because it's just like that's that whole montage.
Honestly, yeah. But I also love the way she beats. I don't care enough to remember his name. I know you said it twice already, but
it's still Jan Rog.
And he's like, all right, 1-on-1, beat me hand to hand. She just blasts him. She's like, whatever, I don't care.
That's very, very Indiana Jones of her.
Oh, her friend is in this movie.
Oh yeah,
her daughter becomes Proton later, but that's neat.
And her friend becomes
Captain Marvel in a multiverse.
Yeah, in a multiverse. I was like, I'm pretty sure her name's Maria, but I didn't want to be wrong. It is Maria. Yep, that happens.
Why is it so hard to care about this movie?
I can't tell if it's just the movie or it's the placement, but then I go back and rewatch it. I'm like, it's hard to rewatch.
Oh, and here's the thing too, like even in hindsight, because we can go watch Endgame whenever the hell we want now.
Exactly.
But
now see, like this one should have definitely come out before Infinity War, right? Like there's nothing that would have been a problem there.
Except the post-credits, except the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, that's honestly not really that important, so...
But this movie really exists to justify Nick Fury using that device at the end of Infinity War. That's what this movie is. But the mid-credit scene is just
had to be after. God, that's the problem with both of these movies. Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel, they both had to be after Infinity War.
The mid-credit scene, just like in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the most important thing about this movie is the mid-credit scene where she shows up at the end, or right at the end of Infinity War, the beginning of Endgame, and it's like, where's Fury?
And that scene was clearly filmed by the Russos. Like, you could just tell.
She filmed all of her scenes in Endgame before Captain Marvel was filmed.
Yeah, that scene looks like it was... Honestly, it looks like it was meant to be an Endgame, and they just made it a post-credit scene.
It probably was. I think the Russos confirmed they directed that scene.
They don't even have to. Just look at it.
Mm-hmm. But
that's definitely them.
I also, honestly, I'm going to say this now. I actually like Captain Marvel in Endgame more than her own movie.
That makes sense. She's... Again, whatever they were doing with that, like, stoicism thing that they were trying to go for in this movie,
it's just gone in Endgame.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's the... I don't know who to blame for it. The writers, the director.
Like, I want to like this movie, but I just can't.
Or Brie Larson. Like, I don't know whose fault it is that the character came off this way.
I think it was the writers and the director. The director probably said, "Play her this way."
Yeah, maybe because like you said, she's better in Endgame. But as we know, the Russos just have a way.
But you got to think too. Like, Endgame takes place in the beginning is 2019. The rest of the movies or 2018. The rest of the movies 2023. So she had a lot of time to grow in between. What was she doing for 20 plus years?
She was off helping other people.
You know what? They call that out at Endgame, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah, they do. But she does respond. She's like, "There's a lot of other planets out there." Because, yeah. Anyways, that's all I got to say about these.
Yeah, I said this earlier, and I'm going to stand by. This is the Garlic Jr. saga of the MCU, because this is just all filler. Because
it is.
Disney had a Marvel mandate, and well, here you go.
What are you gonna do?
Cry about it. Next time, I will be crying for a much more different reason.
Yes, because we're watching an amazing movie and one that neither of us want to watch.
So, next review is gonna be almost entirely focused on Avengers Endgame with a little tiny Spider-Man Far From Home little feature at the end.
And the only reason that Far From Home is going to be in that is because for whatever reason, it's the last movie in Phase 3.
Because it's stupid.
I hate that that's what it is. Like, I don't know why they put it there.
How do you not end the phase with a movie called fucking Endgame?
I don't know. In pretty much everyone's headcanon, even Disney Plus's headcanon, Endgame is the final movie.
Well, because it's the ending. It feels like an ending. But we'll talk about that next time. There's a lot to talk about with that one. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sorry for the lack of enthusiasm. It's hard with these two.
It is. I knew this was going to be a problem.
But next time will be the final episode of Marvel March for Avengers Endgame. And I guess Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, that's there too.
We'll see you guys next time. Take care.